There's an uneasy tension that I have in this room right here. I don't know what to do with it. Perhaps these two men will sort it out. They will explain it to me. It's not the only tension we have around here because Nick Wright has something for Zaz too, but I've got to get to that in a second.
Yeah.
He's here. Nick Wright is here in our presence. Always happy to see him. He's doing so at a time he's got to feel very vulnerable because publicly his Kansas City Chiefs, after a run of dominance, have made him look bad, and they never make him look bad, and they've made him look bad here for a couple of weeks now.
I actually think they've made me look great, Dan.
That's not even the tension I'm talking about. We'll get to that tension in a second.
Sure.
Pablo just told me before you got here that I had lifted a ban. You were banned from this studio, and I didn't even tell him I'd lifted a ban. I didn't know he was banned from the studio. And so Pablo just told me that I bigfooted him, that I sat in his seat, and I allowed you to come in.
Big-butted my seat and bigfooted
I allowed
policy.
you to come in here when he had banned you, and I don't know the nature of this ban, and I disrespected him by lifting it without knowing
I mean,
of it.
if we're going to just get right into it, this could get awkward.
It's already awkward. You're wearing a cardigan in my studio.
I'm pretty, I'd be careful on the my studio part in the room with Dan, but that's neither here nor there. I don't check the books. It's a fake ban that was done for internet applause, and that since this ban, here's the context of it. Pablo invited me on the show along with Wilds. We came at our own expense, mind you. Created what I think
at your own expense. Did he not send a car for you?
Of course not.
Did I send a car for you today?
Yes, of course you did. And so that's but that's fine. It's no problem.
I'm just impartial as a journalist. I wouldn't pay.
Yeah, Wilds and Pablo are longtime friends. Pablo and I are longtime acquaintances, and so we came, and it was. I don't want to call the experience unpleasant, but it was
so fun.
I came in and Pablo's like, "Hey, remember this thing you said to me at a Christmas party once?" And I'm like, "Not really, but I guess this is where we're at." Whatever. It was content. It was fine. We did it. Pablo then asked, texted us again, like people liked it. Come on again. And I kind of put it off. And then I came on your show and I think I made fun of him a bit. And then Pablo did a thing with Katie Nolan where he's like, Nick Wright, and I don't know, Liza Pippin or something, the two people who have been banned. He's like, he's banned.
Larsa.
Okay. And then post-banning, if I showed you the text thread between me, Wilds, and Pablo, it's a lot more, hey, you guys want to come on again? And me not replying, and Wilds, I don't know if he did it or not. And so to that, I would say it was a fake ban for internet applause, which it clearly was. And so I didn't feel actually banned from your studio that Pablo works in because I have been invited here before. Now, your great staff, when they asked me, they said, Dan's going to be in town. Would you like to come on? I said, of course, I'd do anything for Dan. That person, who I think does a great job, but I don't want to name he or she because I don't know if this person would want me to, said, just so you know, Pablo will be there. Is that going to be a problem? And I replied, I'd do anything for Dan. So there's the full context.
I would say a bit of missing context is that Nick sucks up to Dan so hard that it's hard for me to parse when we are or aren't beefing. Because what I try to do is make sure that acquaintances can become friends and they can share in the, in the studio that, yes, Dan has fully fronted and paid for, but that I hope to return the value on over time.
I think you're doing a great job. Every
you.
time I'm asked about the podcast, I say Pablo's doing a great job. It's not the lane I swim in, but I think you're doing a great job, which is another one of the reasons I don't want to come on, because everyone understands in the media business there is filler and killer. So I feel like when I go on Dan's show, that segment that day that I do, I'm part of the killer. Like, hey, highlights of the show. If we did a after action report, one of the highlights would be the hit with Nick Wright was really good. When Pablo's entire motif of the show is Pablo Torre finds out we are getting the NFLPA guy fired. We're doing the scandal in the NBA. At some point, I'm sure we'll get to the really shady solitaire business all his colleagues were in, but I know that's happening later. Then the filler piece of it is Nick and Kevin Wildes hang out for a bit. I don't want to be like that. I'd rather be on Pablo's podcast where like, Nick, we're doing an investigation about you. And we have some questions to ask.
It's funny you request that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't want to spring in a manila folder open full of your poker history. I don't want to do that. The thing that I object to...
Because you don't have it, but go ahead. Yeah, please.
Well,
you're not daring him to find out about you, are you?
I was a dare.
What I am saying is I have led my life from the creed of don't send this text, don't be in this room if you would not be okay with it being on the front page of the New York Times, and I stand by it. So yeah, I mean, I am as all of my vices, foibles, anything the public has seen. So I am a man without the skeleton. So yeah, you can do whatever you want.
He's also, though, self-aware enough and transparent about where his ego resides that he did just tell you to your face he's not filler. He's not someone who comes on to someone else's show so that you can have an easier show that day and get on to what it is that you do.
Actually want to do. You want to do investigations. But those take a lot of time.
I object to filler being the characterization of everything but the investigations. I love when my friends and acquaintances and new friends can come on the show and have a fun time. And I think that what Nick has done inadvertently is characterize the entirety of what is a non-investigative episode in our industry as filler. That is, you're referring to an entire genre of people talking as filler.
Well, he is also telling you, I star or not at all. Like I'm going to come in and be the showcase of your piece.
You did have a rhyming phrase to describe the philosophy, so I do understand.
Listen, I am not saying that all podcasts that are people chatting are filler. What I am saying is every podcast or media venture has an identity. And the identity of Pablo Torre Finds Out is that you are going to do investigations, you're going to be nominated but not win Peabodys, and you are going to do real journalism. That is I'm sure the lady who did Serial would be a sick hang. But if it's like, hey, in between figuring out what
Nick Wright become the good hang arbiter? How did Nick walk?
The good hang off.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that person, if they were like, hey, in between Adnan episodes, we'd love some LeBron takes, I'd be like, I think I'm going to pass. I don't think that's what your audience wants.
But I didn't ask for your LeBron takes. I think, but yeah, look, I at the risk of being too real about this, I don't want to talk about my show this much, even though Nick had previously said in one of his very kind interviews with Dan that if he wanted to do journalism, he could do absolutely everything that I had been doing, which is a thing that's on tape if we want to play that at some point in the proceedings here.
I don't know what he's talking about, and he hasn't prepared our production staff for what that is, so they're not going to have it instantaneously.
That's fine. I'll just recreate it. Do I think that if I put all of my effort into doing what Pablo does, I could do it? Yes. Do I think that if Pablo tried to do what I do, he could? No. That's true.
I think that's one of the most...
it's arrogant, but
it's beyond arrogant. I think it misunderstands the lanes you're describing. Everybody tries to do what Nick does, and Nick is really, really good at it. He's really good at it. I think I'm pretty good at it. Whatever. PTI is a show that exists. I think I'm pretty good on it. All of which is to say that I would like Nick to show me. I do the thing that Nick does, and I do the thing that I do. Nick talks about wanting to do the thing, or not wanting, but if he were to hypothetically try.
No, but it's so... I have no interest.
But it's a take with no teeth. It sounds like you're a little afraid to try. I have been trying to do all of this stuff. I hang out with my friends, argue about sports. I investigate people in the Epstein files. Nick Wright, as far as I can tell, kind of does one of those things.
It sounds like someone says, hey, here's a crocheter. And I'm like, yeah, I think I probably could do that. They're like, why don't you? It's like, because I don't want to. I have no interest in it. I am not denigrating. By the way,
you just compared me to someone who crochets.
I just want to make this clear. I don't think it's easy what you do. I don't think the fact that I can do it is a testament to that it not being difficult. It's a testament to what I think my own ability and intelligences are. And again, I said this was going to get awkward, and I wouldn't.
I think the fact that you just called it a fact is a testament to what your skills are.
Jack.
What do you mean?
You said the fact that you could do it, and you entered that into the available evidence as if that is not a disputed characterization. And then you just steamrolled into whatever it is coming next.
You are saying that facts are not facts when you say they're facts. Pablo is accusing you of thinking that facts are not facts because you have said you simply can do what he can do. Before I go any further, put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Who's a better hang, Nick Wright or Pablo Torre? And
I don't want this conversation to be the evaluation of my ability to hang. I'm embarrassed by my participation in this.
I need an independent arbiter here, please.
Amin's going to be on Pablo's side.
I would hope so.
Well, I just trying to figure out how we spent 15 minutes talking about this whole.
Did I miss it? Did I miss Jess's hit? Did we trade Tyler Hero yet? Did I miss that? Am I on time? Did it happen?
Where did he come from? I thought he was going to be yelling about Notre Dame earlier in the show. Where have you been?
I had a dance recital for my daughter, but I left early because I remembered Jess is on. I can't miss that.
All right, you can talk to Jess in a little while. You have not missed Jess.
She will give me nothing, but it'll be all right because I'm here.
Please, somebody send him out
Go
of the room
Canes!
so I can get back to the awkwardness between Nick and Pablo. I mean, you were saying before Mike thundered in, you thought this was a bad use of 15 minutes of our time, of Nick's time?
I won't lie. Like, the beginning, I thought, oh, this is a fun little bit, right? Then I looked up, and it's 10:47, and we're still doing this? I mean, all right, guys, let's move on. Let's talk about other things that have happened in sports.
Well, we've been doing it for months. Look, this is an interesting. The reason that we'll get back to sports in a second. Nick's got plenty on that subject. The reason that I find it interesting, though, is because you've got two of the best in the.
The Pirates and left-handed pitcher Gregory Soto are in agreement on a one-year, $7.75 million contract. Sources tell ESPN. Soto, 30, had a 4.18 ERA in 70 appearances for the Orioles and the Mets last season.
You've got two of the best in the business, and they do very different things. And I believe that Pablo's a little bit insulted that Nick doesn't totally love the
back
thing
to Nick
that
and
Pablo
Pablo.
does.
No. It's not about whether Nick loves it. It's whether Nick can do it if he really tried as hard as he possibly could.
And this is where we probably. Okay, I mean, this is where we probably shouldn't go. But we're here, so I'll just land the plane. My argument would be, this is mean. We don't know whether or not I can do what you do. I think we do know that you can't do what I do.
That's not an answer. That is exactly what Nick does.
I mean, sure.
I would say this. I would say in Nick's report card, I will do the crime of assigning myself, Dan, and you know how painful this is for me, to give myself a B+ in the sports hot take game.
They do great inflation at the Ivy League schools, don't they? They really do.
I will grant that is what my 13 years at ESPN has resulted in, is a B+, which is a horrifying concept to me. Nick can get an A, and you know what I would say? Nick is one of the best at making it seem like things that are not facts are facts. It's really a skill. And it's happened so many times in this conversation.
You take issue with like the turn of phrase, the fact of the matter?
No. You like, said the fact that I could do it. And
that's just okay. If you would prefer on the pod or on re-listens, just drop in opinion for where I say fact. Because you're right. I use the word liberally in conversation, not as if we were in court. And because I am not the style of investigative journalist you are. I have said that repeatedly. And if you are 100% correct that when I say the fact that I could is being fast and loose with that specific word, the belief that I could is what it is.
But I think this is everything you've said there, which I totally understand, and you're nuancing in such a way that gives you the ability to have your cake and eat it too, which is fine. What I'm saying is that you keep on saying that you could do it.
Yeah, I think
that is factually incorrect based on the available evidence. And I think that the idea of me answering the question with...
Now we're going to dive into it. What's the available evidence?
You've never reported a single thing in your life.
Okay, well, first of all, again, for Pablo Torre finds out, that's a little embarrassing.
So what's the thing you've reported if we're going to do the game of deep diving?
I mean,
so report off.
Marlins 2016 fourth-round pick Sean Reynolds has signed with the Yokohama Bay Stars, per Sean Heyman.
Hold on, no. I'm gonna actually answer this, and then we can move on to more important things. Who is the only person in the country?
It was a little mean. It was a little mean. What I did. I'm sorry.
No.
Mean.
It wasn't mean. It was embarrassing, because who's the only person in the country who, when Adrian Peterson was about to skip on a no-build grand jury for beating his kid, had the police report, his audio-taped confession, every single piece of evidence, and his reporting led to them impaneling a new grand jury and his season-long suspension? The answer to that question is 28-year-old as a side project radio host in Houston, Nick Wright. So, again, is that the only reporting I've ever done? It actually might be. Was it a 10 out of 10 on impact, exclusivity, accuracy? Yes, of course. So does that inform the fact that I think if I actually made it my vocation, I'd be good at it? Yes. But your argument that the lack of evidence is evidence is quite ridiculous. Your argument that anybody...
That's not exactly the argument.
No, again, if you ran back the tape, my friend, it would be. The argument that anything that anyone has not done is evidence they can't do it, as opposed to a void of knowledge on whether they could do it, is just a logical fallacy. And so the point I'm making, if we're really diving into it, is I believe, with a skosh of evidence, that I could be a great investigative reporter. I am not interested in doing it. You seem to believe not even knowing my own investigative reportage history, which is not that hard to know. It's one story, and it was a pretty big one.
How is that logically consistent? It's not that hard to know. It's also literally one thing that happened when I was 28, which I believe is like 13 years ago.
I am going to do something that I try not to do around here, just to include Nick in everything that's happening around here. Jeremy and the shipping container have a device they've been using to try and run me off of subject matter that I've been talking about for 10 minutes too long. The entire time you guys have been talking, I have been smiling at the genuine awkwardness of it, but also I've been getting running commentary in my ear from the shipping container and an exasperated Chris Cody who's wanted this to stop for 10 minutes. I trust the judgment of Pablo and Nick better than I trust that room's judgment, but they've been sitting here.
Closer Kyle Finnegan and the Detroit Tigers are in agreement on a 2-year, $19 million contract.
Give
pending
me the commentary from the room so that Pablo and Nick can get your assessment of this segment, which is good. I don't care what you guys think.
The last 10 minutes felt like at Radio Row when Gary Vee and Rob Riggle just talked to each other for 10 minutes on our show.
That was fun.
They were on as guests.
You're still talking about that great interview from how many years ago because of how good it was.
Oh, just enough, guys. Jesus.
Let's move on to sports topics.
Thank God.
I think I'd rather hang with Nick.
Oh yeah, he seems like
How
a great man.
surprising.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
How surprising.
That's just a Rorschach test for what you enjoy. Of course, I mean, Pablo's a great hang
It's a
for certain
Rorschach
groups.
test.
I'm a great hang for certain groups.
You're both great hangs.
The Rorschach
Neither
off.
one of you better than the other. Better than the other. Get the still images, please, of Nick earlier this week, giving the people what they want, which is his national and international tiers. Were you brought in on a gurney? What happened?
Yeah, I was brought in on a gurney. And then I pulled out a Newport 100 and tried to smoke it. And Wilds correctly said on the air, I think that's been frowned upon on television for 50 years. And so
This is the man you bring into my studio.
yeah, that's uncalled for, guys. That's
This is the journalistic objectivity you bring into my studio.
no journalistic objectivity, just entertaining on TV. And so I mean that's where I said the Chiefs have done me a favor, because if the audience, as the last 20 minutes might be evidence of, I can be a little pompous and grating. I know it'll shock people. So seeing me beaten down like that and defeated, I think humanizes me in a way the audience appreciates. So that's another favor that my hometown team did for me.
But
I see.
But you're hurting. You're rarely this attached to a
buddy,
take.
I'm hurting, and in every way possible, and it has been so financially devastating that my wife was in Miami this weekend for Art Basel. My daughter had a sleepover. Dropped her off at her friend's house around 1. So Saturday. I'm like, I
That's
have
the
a
good stuff
free
right there.
12 hours. I drove to Philly and then tried to crowdsource via Twitter a high-stakes card game to try to come back up. But all the high-stakes players in Philly are down in the Bahamas for the big tournaments. So I just sat in a kind of depressing medium-stakes game for 12 hours, made some money, and drove back home that night.
You've done this a couple of times, though. I don't believe that whatever the financial costs of this were hurt you as much as the emotion of it hurts, to be this invested in a team, this invested in being right, and having Patrick Mahomes fail you with the worst performance we've ever seen from him.
It sounds like a man that hasn't lost consecutive weeks of $20,000 money line bets, Dan.
So I have it wrong. It's money and
it's
not
all of the above. I don't know how to untie it. Like, every time the Chiefs win, I feel great and I win money. And every time they lose, I feel awful and I lose money. So those two emotions are so wrapped in themselves that I don't know what one would feel like without the other. So it's just a whole collection of suck. And then I find myself in this perverse place where a team whose fans have in person for 6 months heckled me at restaurants, and when I'm out, when I'm with my family, Eagles fans, I have to root for them on Monday night to beat the Chargers for the Chiefs' playoff path. And then the quarterback, who despite him beating Mahomes in the Super Bowl, I'm like, I don't really believe in Jalen Hurts. I watch him prove me right in a way that damages my team. It's been awful. It's been truly awful, which is maybe why I'm lashing out.
It just seems to me, though, like you've had a 3-year run at a craps table and are now complaining that you're finally 7 out. Like, you've been yelling.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying you asked me, and it's painful.
I just can't imagine how much money you've won over the last 3 years that has made you this emotionally invested in everything that's happened, because you continue to be right about this team except for 1 or 2 bets over the last 3 years.
No. That part is true, but like any of those great runs at the craps table, they usually press their bet the more they're winning, which is why it's hard to walk away a huge winner, because even if you win 80% of your bets, the bets you lose at the end usually cut into a lot of that. But again, I'm fine financially. My money management plan has always been the same. I'll just make more money next year, and it'll be fine. It is a lot of just the pain of them being the team I love, plus the shame of the certainty that I had that this team was great as of 5 weeks ago, and the money, all of it, sucks.
So Mike Ryan has rushed into the studio.
The Miami Marlins, progressing in their efforts to trade right-hander Edward Cabrera, are talking with the Baltimore Orioles, among other clubs, according to Ken Rosenthal, and I happen to know that that's true.
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come everyone, come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
I happen to know that the Marlins are trying to trade Edward Cabrera over Sandy Alcantara. Zaz, you don't know anything about happening to know about that. You don't know about the Marlins. You're not a reporter.
Okay, well, first of all, to come out and
No,
say
this guy's not a journalist. It's ridiculous.
Okay, it's really difficult to argue with someone who talks like that, okay?
Oh, you think it's going to take sounding like that?
I can beat you with this voice, too. I can beat you in any argument.
Okay, now you're definitely
No matter what I'm
screwed.
doing, I'm going to beat you.
Now
in an
you're
argument. This is
screwed.
ridiculous, Zaz.
Now,
There's no way that you
now
can...
you got a
Not
big
on Marlins
problem.
knowledge.
Because
There's
no one
nobody
can
who
understand
knows
what you're
more
saying.
about
And
the
if no one can
Marlins
understand
than
what you're
me,
saying,
okay?
you don't have a
Nobody
chance to win an
understands
argument with
what you're saying,
anyone.
okay?
No one
Nobody
takes you
understands what you're saying.
seriously
It's
anyway.
ridiculous.
And now you sound like Minnie
Big
Mouse.
ahead.
No one wants to hear from you.
Ahead, that guy over there.
Wow, big ahead.
It's Big Ahead.
Zaz, Nick Wright texted me that you're an all-time dope the other day based
Sup,
on...
Nick?
He said it was on the record because...
Yeah, I mean, because
I don't have to
again,
explain when
it's
I'm
just-
on the record. Everything that comes out of this mouth's on the record, all right? I don't play any games here.
Your take was just... I can't understand. Can we go back to the other voice? I can't understand that one. No! Your take was that Braun hoped the shot missed, which under certain contexts would make sense, but of course makes no sense under the exact context that play happened, which was he has 8 points, it's a tie game, there's 4 seconds left and he has the ball. So if he wanted to keep the streak alive, all he had to do was shoot the ball, because if he makes it, the streak stays alive, and if he misses it, they go to overtime and the streak will stay alive. The mere fact, I hope I used that correctly, Pablo, that he passed means that he was putting winning ahead of the streak by definition.
Nick.
And you're a real dope if you can't just follow the natural linear progression of time to understand that.
Nick, he was 4 for 17 in the game. You act like he was out there and he was 3 for 5, and he decided at the end of the game to pass. He was 4 for 17, like he wasn't trying to get double figures. He was 4 for 17.
What is this? What the hell's going on?
That's Oh, you know what you should pull instead of to defend the mean there?
Mad Dog?
You guys can probably pull it. Mad Dog. My guy, but I mean, that is my guy, but Mad Dog should not have allowed that to be filmed.
Would have been a nice setup for them to, like,
I
before.
mean, this Mad Dog's an all-timer, but how do you
Half-court
let
shot?
this get filmed?
Oh, dog.
He got hurt.
I mean, how do you,
Dog.
Nailed the
how
follow
do
through,
you
though.
allow
It's just
that
the
to be
aftermath.
filmed?
Just the aftermath.
Dog's on the IR now. Come on.
It looks fine
I
up
mean-
until the aftermath.
The best part is that he
He's
charged
hurt.
up for it.
He injured himself on that?
No.
Is
Looks
that
like
his
it.
version
He
of a
pulled
crow hop?
It's interesting that he crossed over. You don't usually see a crossover before half-court shot.
Wait a minute. He
bro hop.
did injure himself and then hobbled off. Wait a, let me watch that whole thing again, because the dribbling was terrible and then it got worse. How does it get worse after the dribbling? The dribbling was terrible.
The dribbling might have been the worst part, bro.
Oh no. Oh, double dribble.
Clear double, yeah.
Oh.
Hold on.
And then
Also-
he staggers off.
Terrible camera work.
I
dude,
started
being
my
honest.
law practice specifically for instances like this. This is viral decontextualization, folks. This guy has one bad moment on camera. All of a sudden, we're going to just paint his entire athletic experience with just that one moment. Mad Dog, you don't have to fall for it. The
What
good
happened
people,
to Amin's wrist? Why does it
great
go
question.
that way?
we don't need to relitigate.
My investigation on that is
I did a whole
ongoing.
video on West 4th Street about this.
We're going to throw it back to Miami here in a second. Our thanks to Nick Wright for stopping by. We will continue this awkwardness with Pablo at a later date. But Jessica, Mike, you got something
have
for
to?
Jessica? You got something for Jessica?
She's got nothing for me. We all know what this is going to be like trying to draw blood from a stone, but I am thrilled to be here.